What is up, Guardians? We got a nice little surprise right here. We're going to do power rankings, and we're going to do it in a video format. And my biggest surprise is I have two guests with me today. Some long-term CFM members, absolute staples of the community. I got Astrojoe and Steady with me. How are you doing today, boys?
Living the dream, man. Living the dream.
Having an incredible day so far, and I'm looking forward to showing everybody the 100% accurate statements on all these teams. Flawless. We're the best. We're the best analysts in the world.
PFF approved. PFF approved power rankings.
Absolutely. Very excited to show everybody.
This is official. This is legit. This is it, man. So we're going to go through. We're going to go in like a draft style order, right? So we're going to go pick by pick, and they're going to justify their pick of why they're placing that team where they're placing them. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump right into it, okay? So we got Steady, our guest here. You're going to be team number one. Who you have at the top?
Top of the league, I have the Miami Dolphins at the number one spot. Recent acquisition of Deshaun Watson has worked wonders for the Dolphins, and they've had some really quality wins. For example, over a Bills team, Raiders, a blowout win over the Colts. I mean, they've just been really impressive so far this season, and that's why they're number one on the board.
All right, there you go. And Astro, you gotta go ahead and give me number two, man. Who you got at number two, second place?
Number two, man. I have the much loved Dallas Cowboys, who actually have the best defense with points against in the league, holding opponents to 61 points in 4 games. He just lost to Evo, but you have those days, man. Everyone has that one loss to Evo in their career, so now he has that out of the way. Expect him to flourish.
There you go. And so I got pick number 3. I have a newcomer. A lot of people don't know him. I have Coach Run It and the Falcons. This offense is electric. I mean, Aaron Jones rushed for 280 yards in one game. He is a monster. What a perfect trade. I think he's going to turn Atlanta around, and that's why I have them at number 3. So there's number 3. Who do you got number 4, Steady?
Number 4, I have the Carolina Panthers, and they've been really impressive this season, with their only loss being a rather fluky play against the Jets that really cost them the game. But otherwise, if that didn't happen, this would be an undefeated football team right now. And of course, their quality win over the Cowboys this week, also very essential.
Yeah, might be a little bit high there, but we will just keep on going along. Astrojoe, who do you have as the 5th best team in Madden Guardians?
The 5th best team in Madden Guardians, man, I have down the Tennessee Titans. Horn has done an excellent job rebuilding this team, man. I mean, they fleeced that Panthers user for Stephon Gilmore, get rid of shitty AJ Brown. You get the best corner in the league for cheap. I mean, man, you have the best running back in football in Derrick Henry, who's just an animal. Expect him to have a fantastic season.
Yeah, I like that pick there. I also think that their division has a big part to play in there. So we'll go ahead, hop right into team number 6, man. The 6th best team in Madden Guardians going into week 5 is none other than the LA Rams. Dante and this Rams team is electric. If you look, they have 41.3 points per game, man. An absolutely electric offense. And then their defense is no slouch either, right? They're only allowed up 73 points over 4 weeks. Or 3 weeks, sorry. So I think he is a top-tier user, and he's just going to go ham with Don and Jalen Ramsey on that defense.
Who have they played? Sorry.
All right, Steady, you got team number 7.
Team number 7, I have Coach Ryan and the Bills. Now, Ryan and the Bills, 3-1 on the year. Their only loss to the Dolphins, who we have number 1 on our rankings. Josh Allen and the Bills have been really impressive, and I think that's going to continue going forward.
There you go. I like that one. Okay, and then Asher, you have the 8th team rounding off this first little part of the power ranking segment.
Man, 8th team, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. If it wasn't for one fluke catch in the game, I think King's 4-0. He's been playing fantastic. Travis Kelce, giving me Madden 21 next-gen vibes with tight ends. But, I mean, he's just unstoppable. His playbook's unique. He does different kinds of stuff. He uses that team very well. We'll see how he plays after trading out the GOAT, McCole Hardman. But, yeah, I have him there.
Yeah, and that one's interesting to me, right? Because you have to look, the power rankings are not only how is the team playing right now, what wins are they getting, how are they looking, who are they beating, but it's also who is the user, right? And King has been kind of a bottom tier user for most of his career with Guardians, but I think he's a different coach going into Madden 22, and this offense, I mean, it's been electric so far.
Right, I agree. It's exactly why I have them right at this spot.
Is there anything, so Asher, let's go ahead and start with you. Is there any ranking where you think they're either, who do you think is too high in the top 8? Who's too high?
I think Dante is, and I think Steady made this comment earlier before we started recording, man. He's played a cupcake schedule his first few games. I mean, he's just throttling the lower half of the league. I mean, I think it is impressive, and I think that Rams team's a hard team to use. So we'll see how he develops and plays against good teams. It should be a good matchup with him and Kane this week. So, if anything, I'd have Dante, like maybe flip with the Chiefs. I wouldn't say he's out of the top 10, but that's definitely just concerning going forward.
So you're saying Dante has played the Bears 0-3, the Colts 0-3, and the Buccaneers who are 0-4. So you're saying he has 0 quality wins, and that's why you think he's too high.
No, I think Dante's a great user, man. I just it's the level of competition. Yeah, quality wins, man, is a little bit of it. You have teams in the upper echelon that have beat at least one good team, I'd say. So, we'll see going forward with him. But I mean, he's fine where he is right now. Maybe a little high, but he'll be good.
I think Dante needs to prove himself with a win over a decent football team, and then we'll be a little more confident giving him a high spot on this rank, on these rankings.
Do you mean the football team or a football team?
A football team, not the football team.
Just making sure, because that team's even worse, man.
All right, so that is this just in, I guess. I mean, that's some breaking news, right? Astrojoe says the Rams are trash, overrated, absolute garbage fire. You heard it here first, guys. So Steady, who do you think is overrated in the list so far? Top 8.
I'd agree with the Rams are pretty high up there on the rankings and probably should be a little lower. I think the Cowboys being ranked at number 2 is just absolutely outrageous, especially after their loss to the Panthers this week. How can you take a loss and be the second best team in the league? Just doesn't add up.
Wow. Strong words from Steady, and Shada, I know you're watching. Again, it was Steady. Steady's the one who's hating on you very hard. So there we go. There's the top 8. We're going to go ahead and transition over to the next 8. We're going to go from 9 to 16, and I'll start us off. The 9th best team in Madden Guardians is none other than the Seattle Seahawks, led by Agent Kane, right? He's got some quality wins, and his only loss is to the Titans by 3 points. So I think Kane is a great user, and I think he's going to make some noise with the Seattle offense.
Didn't DK just get hurt, if I'm not mistaken? I swear DK
was recently injured.
Yep.
Do we know how long?
I think he tore something.
He's out for 3 weeks with an upper arm fracture. Wow.
Yes. And his upcoming schedule, the next 2 games are very hard. He has Rams with Dante and then the Steelers of Astro. So very 2 great users, but then it lightens up a little bit with the Saints, Jags, and Cupcake Packers. So that's what I'm kind of saying. He'll win 1 of the 2 hard games, win 3 of the easy ones, and come out on top.
Right.
Okay, well, there we go. Next up, we have Steady, the 10th best team in Madden Guardians.
At number 10, I have the San Francisco 49ers, led by Trey Lance. But one thing I got to say about this team is the production from their quarterback has been god-awful. I mean, we just saw Trey Lance throw 2 pick sixes to lose against the Seahawks. He has more interceptions than touchdowns on the year. Fans are probably upset that Jimmy G's not the guy right now, how he's played. But if they've managed to turn it around, rookie quarterbacks, you know how that be, I think they could be very successful.
Well, there you have it. We have the 11th best team in Madden Guardians. Who you got, Astrojoe?
I have the Detroit Lions. I think OMB has been playing, surprising a lot of people this year with how he's been playing, man. Kind of crazy. He just traded for McCole Hardman, too. I think that makes a huge difference for him. I think he's been already killing it with Jared Goff. He scored 128 points this year, which isn't, amazing, but it's up there. His defense is the only worry I have, letting up almost 100 points with only scoring 128. So, I mean, we'll just see how he goes from here throughout the year.
Yeah, very, very good points right there, man. So we got the 12th best team in the league now, and I'm going to present it. It is none other than our buddy here, Astrojoe, and the Steelers, man. I'm telling you.
Boo, boo.
Astro is an elite level user. No matter who he's on, he's winning games. And if you look at the games he's played, right? A nice W against the Raiders. Their offense is electric. He has a good W versus the Bengals, who he blew out. His only loss is to the Bills, who we have ranked very highly. So I think Astrojoe and this retirement home Steelers roster are going to make some noise as the playoffs come around. Next up, we have Steady. Who you got?
I have the Denver Broncos, mainly because of their elite defensive performances this season. Got to be one of the best defenses in the league. Some okay wins so far this year. I think they're a potential decent. I don't think they're elite, but I think they're all right. Better than average.
So better than average earns you what, the 13th spot in the league?
Because average would be 16, right?
Wow.
Better than average.
Better than average. Very good points right there. So next up, Astro, who you got at spot number 14?
At 14, I have the Las Vegas Raiders. They've had a new user this year. He's only lost one game where he got throttled by the Steelers. It's a very good football team over there in Pittsburgh. Other than that, his offense has been amazing. Outside of that one throttling, like I said, by the Steelers. He just beat Kohler, who's a very good user, forced him to 5 interceptions with Herbert, making him want to change teams. But yeah, I think he has a great offense. Ruggs and Waller are really unstoppable this year, so we'll see how far he can go. But the defense has to fix some stuff. 120 points allowed this year is a little bit of a yikes.
Very much so, very much so. Yeah, explosive offense, not a good defense. You'll see how far he can go with that. So I got team number 15 here. And I got one of the hometown heroes, one of the guys who's always been a very good community member, not the best at Madden, but he's improving. It is Junk. Junk and the Vikings, man. I'm telling you, this offense has been popping off. He just walloped on Scuba and the Browns, man. That Browns roster is great. So if you can put up 56 points on them, you're doing something right. Next up, number 16. Steady, who you got to round us off? Top 16 here.
I have Sugar Sean and the Bengals at 16. I mean, they've been very aggressive in some trades with the Browns, right, as we know. And they're clearly pretty all in on this year. They're really looking to compete. And so I think they got some things to work on. Joe Burrow needs to clean some things up, but if he can figure things out, I think they have a good shot.
Oh, 100%, 100%. They've been a little bit of a surprise. I will say, I think the league is a little bit lower on them as they just got absolutely demolished in week 3. I mean, they lost 44-16 by the Steelers user, and we have him right here in the booth. Astro, tell us, what was it like playing Sugar Sean, and what's his outlook for the rest of the season? Was it just a bad game?
2 words, dev game. One of those games. I love Sean. He definitely was more aggressive than before, I'd say. That offense is pretty powerful. I think Joe Burrow just isn't the answer right now for his win now kind of surrounding him. Kind of sold him on some throws. Defense needs to get fixed. A lot of speed, but, not really developed players. So I'd give Sean a year or 2, man. He'll develop nice. I think he's going in the right direction. The only downside I could say is he doesn't have a first-round pick. Interdivisional trades, I hate those. Don't understand them, but, it's the CFM we're in. So he's going in the right direction. Just, we got to work out some kinks.
You hear that, trade committee? Ban interdivisional trades from Astrojoe. You heard it right here. Okay.
Let me trade.
Let me trade. Well, there we go. We'll have to do a little episode on that, beef with the trade committee. That'd be awesome. We'll have a bunch of guests lined up. It'd be great. So Steady, out of this list, 9 through 16, who is the most underrated?
Well, I think I'm going to go with a bit of a shocker, right? I think the Vikings are figuring things out. They just throttled the Browns, who have a very talented roster, and I think if they start playing at that level, it could be very good and have a real shot at making a deep run in the playoffs this year.
I agree. I think the next 2 weeks are very telling for the Vikings as they have the Lions, who are rated higher than them, and the Panthers, who are rated higher than them. That's in the next 2 weeks. So we'll see if Junk is legit or not. It's his time to prove in front of everyone. So now we'll go to the back half. We'll go ahead and do this one a little bit quicker. We'll just kind of present them. We won't debate on them too much. So we'll just go 17 through 32, and we got Astrojoe.
Yeah, man, I think at 17, I have the New York Jets. I think, for how shitty their roster is, Coach Steady has really been able to do a lot of good things with, not a lot of good football players. So is their future bright? Probably not. But are they playing well? Yes, they are.
I like the Jets there.
That's really sweet of you to say.
Hey, while we're in New York, Jets, Giants. Let's get both of them back to back. Number 18, I got Macario and the Giants, man. I've heard he's gotten better. I haven't quite seen it yet. I want to see him on the field. So as the season continues, I will keep a close eye on him. Steady, next up, who you got? Number 19.
Number 19, I have a bit of an interesting one. I have Kohler and the Chargers. Now, one thing about Kohler is I think he's always been a top guy, right? But there's been some recent developments here in Los Angeles, right? At the quarterback position, Justin Herbert is out. I think that could be a bit of a mistake. I mean, he played incredible early in his career, and now he's getting benched after a couple of bad games. So I think it'll be really interesting to see how things go in Los Angeles.
Steelers.
All right, in the big 2-0, number 20, Astro. Who do you got on the 20th best spot?
Well, this might be a shock to people, but I have Tsunami Poppy and the Texans. You know, I don't think his record shows his skill. I think he got worse in a trade giving away Watson for Tua Tagovailoa, who's the worst quarterback in CFMs. But I do think Poppy's a great user, and we'll figure it out after he probably gets rid of Tua.
Well, there you go. I couldn't set it better myself. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and do 21, and I got Scuba and the Browns. This roster is amazing. Scuba's still piecing it together as he's very busy outside, so he's not putting a lot of time into the X's and O's like he used to, but I think he's going to turn around as he gets more comfortable with this roster, and hey, who do you know? Maybe he could trade CMC for Chubb and really unlock this offense. That'd be awesome. Next up, Steady. Who you got, number 22?
I have the Saints, and the Saints are interesting because they got absolutely throttled by PD and the Packers week 1, which is really bad. Like, it's really not what you want to happen against a team like that. But they played the Panthers really close, only a 3-point loss. Absolutely destroyed the Patriots in the game of the week, and they have a win over the Giants now. So I think if they can get a little better, they seem to be figuring things out with how close they played these games. So Saints on the up, in my opinion.
And I know that the Packers user is shaking his head right now, saying, "I blew him out. I should be ranked higher than him." So we'll see where Petey and the Packers ranks in here. All right, next up we have Astrojoe. Who do you got at number 23?
At number 23, I have the I have the Philadelphia Eagles. I think Gage is the best 0-4 team in the league. I think he's better than a lot of teams with wins, man. I think he just needs to figure it out. Sorry I didn't put you here, Petey. But I do think Gage is still the best 0-4 team in football.
There you go. I would agree with that. Gage is deadly. I think he's just waiting to be unlocked. Number 24, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I got the Packers. PD really came on hot when he first started. I mean, Chuba Hubbard seemed like a great trade at the time. 360 yards, 6.0 yards per carry, and 3 touchdowns on him so far. So taking a drafted rookie like that, replacing Aaron Jones, and having no loss in production is amazing. I think as he gets more used to the game, he's going to develop. He's going to use this roster as how it should be used. Steady, you got pick number 25.
Pickings are getting pretty slim down here, but nonetheless, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars at this spot, and they're pretty interesting because there was a very controversial week 1 loss where a player made this play that Coach Jaguars Killa did not think should have been made. And if they throw a touchdown on that play, this interception where a guy warped, all right, let's be honest, he warped, they're better than they are now. So I think it'd be interesting to see how they bounce back from that.
Yeah, I will say something that's interesting, the Jags, it looks like Laviska Shenault is their leading receiver. A lot of youth on that team, so they seem to be more of a year 2, year 3 team. We'll see how they progress this season. Next up, Astrojoe, who do you have at number 26?
I have Doink in the Cardinals. He's on vacation currently away, so some losses are coming from it, but I think he has one of the best rosters in game. So expect whenever he gets back, whenever it is, to really turn around.
I agree. I don't know if it's because of the Sims or because of his play style, but Kyler Murray leads the team in rushing, which I think is a big problem. A lot of speed at wide receiver, so we'll see if he can turn the season around after taking the first half off. Number 27 is myself, and I'm going to go ahead and give Bulldog and the Buccaneers this spot. Bulldog used to be an elite Madden player. He's been out of the game for a while, but as he shakes off the rust, I think Tom Brady's going to lead this team to some wins. Not only that, but Tom Brady leads the league in passing, so I think he can move the rock down the field. It's just those 9 interceptions that you really have to look out for. So once he gets those under control, watch out. All right, Steady, you have pick number 28.
At number 28, I have Moose and the Patriots. Moose, honestly, he's had a very disappointing year, behind the arm of Mac Jones. A lot of games that just aren't close, and then we saw the embarrassment game of the week 3, where a lot of guys are let down who voted for the Patriots. But it went over a really talented Bucks roster, the Bucks, who we placed one higher than Moose. I think bodes well, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see if they can turn it around, or if they're going to continue to struggle and potentially have a top pick in this upcoming draft.
Something about the Pats. I don't know if it is to get at Jumper or if it's just unlucky play, but Mac Jones has 11 interceptions. I don't think he can play winning football with that. So I don't know if it's calculated and planned until he can move on from Mac Daddy, but we'll have to see how that one develops. Astro Joe, you got pick number 29.
29, I have the Baltimore Ravens. Man, I don't know. I just Cactus, man. He's has one of the best rosters. Just been struggling early. You know, normally you see Ravens users with Marquise Brown leading their team in receptions. He has Mark Andrews. He doesn't have a 100-yard rusher through 4 games. You know, just Lamar stats are fine. You know, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. But, you know, just like I said, man, just struggling really.
I'd agree. It looks like he needs a ground game to complement something because they don't have any wins. Next up, we got 3-0. And we go ahead and we're going to put the Bears there. Peach and the Bears. And man, this one hurts. As a Justin Fields fan, he's been struggling. I'm talking 3 touchdowns, 11 picks, 700 yards. I mean, Justin Fields is getting demolished out there. He has no run game to help him. Dave Montgomery has 3.7 yards per carry. It's rough. It's rough to be a Bears fan right now. So let's see if Peach can turn around. The worst part of it, he doesn't have his first round pick. Next up, Steady, you got 31. Who's the second to worst?
I'd like to start this off with congratulations to Devin and the Colts for not being the worst user. Number 31, man. Congratulations. Good job. The Colts, they suck. They're terrible, man. They're really awful. Terrible quarterback. Just terrible all around. Everything sucks. Definitely rebuilding year for the Colts. No shot at ever being successful.
Yeah, at least they have their first round pick also, man. That's big for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, so they're going to be looking to make some moves this offseason.
Make a move most likely for a quarterback, 4 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Eason's at a 50% completion. Just not a recipe for winning football.
Absolutely not.
Astro, so you have the worst team in the league. Who is the worst? I guess you didn't pick this one. You're just going to reveal it.
You know, the Washington Football Ghosts, team is the worst team in the NFL. I mean, man, 3 games, no responses, missed scheduling times, all for just to leave the league, man. I think it's disappointing. They have a young, bright future. Kohler was memeing about going to that team, but, you know, that won't happen because we have a new user. Eva, would you like to announce who is taking over the Washington football team and ruining people's lives?
Yes. The Washington football team has a new coach. It just broke right now. They have hired Coach Bucks. That's right, a Super Bowl caliber coach. He is in the Hall of Fame from winning with us previously. He's back. He's going to absolutely tear people up with Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, you name it. We'll see what he does at quarterback as he is a gunslinger, but you can bet your ass the Washington football team will be back in relevancy here soon.
I totally agree. Definitely a top guy. I think he's going to turn that team around. I think they have the talent. It's just when you hire a head coach and he does not show up to a single game, that's not good for your team. So I think the football team is right to go ahead and fire their coach midseason here and bring in a guy like Bucks who's really good.
I agree, man. But hey, it's breaking news. The Spike Shot is in general chat right now saying, man, I want to make a comeback. Will we see him on a team maybe this year?
That is breaking news as well, as we're just reviving old users, goated users. I mean, Spike Shot in his prime is one of the most entertaining streamers to watch on Madden. It is just hilarious to watch him rage and throw picks. I mean, to play the game. And yeah, I would love to see Spike back on the team. If we can get Spike back, Bucks back, I mean, man, we are assembling a superstar league.
Let's see who we're kicking, man.
Oh, man. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Astro. Thank you, Steady. I really appreciate all the analysis, man. This was a ton of fun. We put together the top 32, the best 32 Guardians, number 1 all the way down to the bottom of the barrel. I hope you guys liked it. Go ahead and put in the chat, guys, in Discord. Tag, who do you think was underrated? Who's overrated? And we'll see how these rankings turn out. So thank you guys again for coming out. Astro, Steady, anything you guys want to say before we go?
It's an honor to be here. Really glad I could share my my insight, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Have a horrible fucking day to all you members out there.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.